wave of refugees to these shores.
It's time for a fresh start. God, you don't know, do you? Philo's alive.
You left me.
This is where we go.
She loves you, and it's going to get her killed.
A man's no better than the pain he's caused the people he loves.
Alright. Is audio still weird?
Sounds like we're good.
Gotta get paid, dude. I'm a school teacher. I gotta get my money where I can, dude.
There.
So, yeah, this is the Super Famicom version.
And why the Super Famicom version?
Well, I mean, it's really the only version. But it has been patched with an English translation, so we'll be doing that. I don't know how to read this J stuff, so...
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know about video. My end seems smooth, so... Not quite sure what that's all about. But hopefully it gets better.
Well, I'm just checking on it.
But anywho, I know you had asked about, while the ad was going, about the history of the run, so I can't claim to, like, be like this super old boy or anything. I first ran this game in, like, 2015 or something like that. Back at a time where there was a step route. People didn't take it particularly seriously. You kind of kept it through Karnak Escape, and that was really it. You could take it through the whole game, it just didn't really matter. So I didn't. Like, I was all scared and whatever. And the kind of gist of that old route was using chemist mixes and I forget what the power is called. It's when you mix antidotes and revivifies. You only use it once in this route, so I totally don't remember anymore. Samson power?
Samson power,
and Guild Toss, and then a lot of death by math, where you kill a lot of bosses with level 5 death by altering their levels with Dark Shock and level 2 old. But all that stuff's out the window now. This is the mathless speedrun. And
so is that a function of necessity, or did somebody find just one day, like, oh, we don't have to do all of this hard work, we can just do this instead?
Yeah, I don't really know. I'll wait for the meteor. It's so loud. Anyway, let me do this.
So, I believe that when you're walking around on Boko in the overworld, that your threat level increases, but you will not get into an encounter.
That's correct.
So did you walk a specific movement there to get it, to manipulate it where you want it?
Yep.
Awesome.
So we're still step routing, no chance of getting an encounter, but it's going to set up future stuff.
And the general rule for when Bic is in an area where you can increase your threat level and get into an encounter is if there's an NPC in the room, most of the time you're fine to walk around and take whatever steps you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear-cut, like, when you're in any sort of, like, neutral scenario, town, whatever, then you're fine. In most of the cases, not quite all of them. Alright, we're going for speed here. No, we're not, because I messed up, but we're going back to B. Alright. We were aiming for speed, we didn't quite work out.
Take it.
Yeah. So, if you're familiar with any sort of, at least SNES, FF, or RPG, most text boxes draw characters at a time, so the less character your name is, the less it has to draw. You'll save small amounts of time across the run doing that kind of stuff.
The arm pumping of RPGs.
But yeah, I feel like I kind of interrupted myself some stuff. So yeah, this is this game never came out for North America, so I am playing on a flash card. So I'm playing off of an FF5 ROM that's been patched with an English translation. So it's going to be a little bit slower than pure Japanese version, but otherwise the game's going to function the same. We will be using the few glitches that are possible in this game. It's not a glitchless run. So far, this game is not completely broken like 4 and 6 are, so we will be playing the game. Obviously, I won't really be doing optional content, but yeah, we'll be playing the game, and for the most part, the way you're supposed to, quote unquote. So we meet our people, Lena and Galuf, and we're ready to go.
So there are innate differences among the 4 characters, right?
Yes.
Certain characters are better at using certain weapons.
Yeah, so there's kind of 2 different things going on. So if you're familiar with this game, you know you have the job system and anyone can do anything, but there are, that I know of, a few innate differences. So out of your 4 characters, they have varying amounts of strength or speed or magic power, and then I think there's a little bit of differences in what things people can equip and whatnot.
Yeah, and there are also, yeah, that's essentially what I was going to say. And so how does that play into what character becomes what job? Is it entirely stat-based?
I'm not
more
sure. I'm
equipment-based?
not super sure that it does, to be honest. It might. I'm probably not familiar enough with the actual intricacies of the route to know that. A lot of it's going to be based upon... I think speed's going to be taken into account for sure. And then also you have to take into account all the different times you have some strange combination of your party where 1 or 2 people are missing. And you have to make sure you have the correct jobs in place and stuff for that. I'm sure a couple other people who actually routed this stuff might know more about if someone's strength comes into mind or something like that. I couldn't imagine, because you don't really use physical attacks in the run. And I'm trying to think about magic too. I don't think so. It's the only thing I can think of, at least right now, I could be wrong, is you're probably taking into account speed to some degree, but you're also doing that with equipment and jobs and whatnot.
Right. You think those play a larger factor than the discrepancies in stats between the characters?
Yeah. So I don't know what's up with the restream again. Sorry, y'all. I know that I'm playing the game okay for now.
It seems like all of the audio and FPS issues are fixed, just a little behind. They're off-synced. You seem to be playing fantastically. That's all I know.
Thank you. Alright, so we did a little standard menu there, changing all the settings. Battle speed 4, message speed 1, which is the fastest. 4 is the nice mix of faster than 5 or 6, but not so fast that you're getting owned by the bosses. I put on the short menu, so instead of having to scroll multiple times up or down to get between fight, item, magic, and all that stuff, you can just hit up, down, left, or right. And then you also set it to memory cursor and to empty people's inventories every time you switch their jobs. because you'll be switching around equipment a lot, and so you don't want to sit and have to remove and like mix and match everything all the time. It's much faster that you take it off and then put stuff on. Most of the time you're putting stuff on too, you're also using optimize, so it just makes more sense.
Okay.
One of the other things I did there as well is that menu comes at a specific time. You can do it whenever the heck you want. Obviously, the earlier the better. But it's the first instance of taking what's called a half step. I don't really know why it's called a half step, because it basically is a non-step. Doesn't register the step. Yeah. Which you'll see me do a lot. Just because it's a speed run. That's like, it's fine. Like, I'm making it out to be more than it is, but like, you really can't make mistakes in it, and so it's definitely my desire to like focus on stuff rather than like worry about talking my butt off or something. Like, that's what Countdown is for anyway. He's here to be my mouth here, so, and my larynx.
Hello.
So are we doing good now? We doing good, chat?
Nice. Seems like we're smooth sailing.
We doing good. Alright. I don't know if you heard anything I said or Countdown has said for the last 5 minutes, but here we are. Welcome. Final Fantasy V. Smooth sailing. We heard on from about mouth and legs. Cool. So what I was saying is that, like, there's definitely a lot of tech in this game, and we'll hit things as we go along, I'm sure. And I was just saying that I am doing my best to concentrate when there's gameplay sections, because I can't really make mistakes. I'm certainly trying not to. And so if you're saying stuff specifically to me, or if you have specific questions, there's a good chance I'm going to miss it unless we're on a cutscene, of which there are a great many of them. So we can interact plenty. It's just like when I'm doing gameplay sections, it's up to Countdown to like do anything, because I'll be trying to play my game. That's all I was saying.
I think they wanted to recap the like why or what replaced Death by Net. You have to move.
Yeah, so You had Death by Math and Samson Power, that transitioned to Death by Math and Dragon Power, and then that transitioned to Dragon Power and Guild Toss. And you just eliminated Death by Math completely, and now it's a lot faster. Like, a lot faster. But yeah, I'm gonna shut up for a bit.
This is the wind shrine. I think you're gonna blow 6 steps in this room, and then go fight the boss.
Yeah, just with one little pit stop here for the broadsword, because our boy Gloof doesn't have a weapon. Okay.
So this should be a sure thing, no problem. All he has to do is equip the broadsword on Galoof, and Final Fantasy has that neat mechanic where you can equip and unequip at will in the item menu on the character.
Yeah, so it's mostly simple, like, you hold A. The only time things can get a little messy, or a lot messy, is if Ferris is the only character who goes before the boss, then you're dependent on your damage rolls. If anybody else can go before the boss also, then you're fine. Because if you don't kill them by his 3rd turn, then he'll go into the kind of hide mode or whatever, where he counters all your attacks, and you have to sit and wait for it, and that takes forever. So, but yeah, as soon as I saw Lena also go before the boss went, then I knew it was going to be fine. Plus, some damage rolls were like really good, so it's like, okay, it's totally fine. It should be a free boss like 99% of the time, and there's just that one time where you get owned and you have to reset. Well, on a PB attempt anyway, you would definitely reset.
Yeah. Well, this is a marathon, so I'm surprised it did not happen.
Yeah. Plenty of run. This game is actually pretty unique among RPG speedruns, because the RNG is actually quite minimal. But there is RNG in specific places, and they're quite meaningful, and that's one of them, where it's just like, I don't have any control over what my starting ATB is, so, like, if you get owned in that way, there's nothing I could have done better, because you know Ferris and Lena are going to go first, so you just hold A, and then you kind of have to wait and see who goes first, Bartz or Galoof, to see if you hold A again, or if you equip the broadsword, but yeah, you know exactly, like, you can't go any slower, or faster, if you're just holding A, right? So it's like, it's all luck from there.
Okay. Sometimes lucky.
Yeah. We'll get an RNG point pretty soon too. The other thing about this game, for whatever reason, it's like got a near lagless menu, which makes menuing in this game incredible. Anybody who loves RPG speedrunning loves menuing, and this game has the best menus. And you get to show off if you're any good at it, which I'm okay, but we'll see how it goes. First one will be coming up soon, because we just got our first set of crystals, so we have our first jobs. And it's time to put those on, and then normally you would leave the dungeon from the top, but in fact we are going to walk our butts all the way back through the dungeon, and get a very specific encounter as well. Alright.
So we're gonna get 3 blue mages and a thief. And the thief is imperative to have in the run because you dash when you have a thief in your party. You walk, I think, up maybe twice as fast. A significant amount. And so it's always good to either have a thief or the dash ability equipped if you want to go fast.
Yeah, you get the dash. Hang on.
And then it also, your thief, you're working towards the escape ability as well, so you can instantly escape battles.
The other thing too is you can't get back attacked with a thief, so you always want one on anyway, because it's a speedrun, right? You know we're all going to be low level and all that stuff. And so it's also really important that you don't get back attacked because you will die. So having a thief in there, besides dashing, is also completely necessary anyway. We're getting... This is the classic luck that I'm expecting here.
Just a bunch of physicals, no goblin fun.
Yeah.
Love it. You used up all your luck on the wing raptor.
Okay. I actually also can't use any more potions than I already have, so this is fun.
Oh dear.
Please goblin punch someone. Hello? I could actually die. Could you goblin punch someone? Maybe? Oh, thank God. Okay, now just don't freaking kill anybody! Okay.
Oof. Alright.
That was actually insanely dicey, dude. Not what you want to see.
So that would have killed Lena if it connected, huh?
Yeah.
Or Paris. Haven't used it on the two characters that had a potion applied to them.
Alright, so that battle is twofold. I do want to learn Goblin Punch. Goblin Punch is going to carry me through the next few battles, boss battles. It's also important that I get everybody to level 2 as well. So you want that battle. You want a battle no matter what. You want goblins for Goblin Punch, and you want to gain a level regardless.
So it works out.
So normally you would skip the beginner's house, but for safety I'm going to go and pick up an extra Phoenix down, but also an extra potion because I used one more potion. You're only supposed to be able to use one potion. That's all you can afford to do, but because you need those potions later. But that's okay. We can just, since I'm going to the beginner's house anyway, then we may as well pick one up, as well as a safety Phoenix down. That way, no matter what happens with the almost no matter what happens with the bosses, I'll be fine. And pick up that Phoenix down there as well. That one's built into the route already, but I'll take the 12 seconds or whatever to pick up extra safety items. This is a marathon setting after all. And given what just happened, I'm I'm a little nervous now.
No, if anything, your nerves should be totally cooled down.
Yeah.
You've dealt with it, it's over.
From there, we just picked up some basic spells. So we bought Fire, Lit, and Cure 1. And we won't be buying too many other spells. That's almost the entirety of the spells we'll have access to.
Almost. So the one thing about the step manipulation in this game is that the vehicles that you use, the boat and the airship, both move super fast. And, manipulating steps, taking the right directions on the right tiles is very tricky at some points, is it not?
Yeah, it can be. Even when I do PB attempts, I stutter a lot of my movement just to make sure. But on the fastest known run, Japanese of course, I watched this run, learning the game, and the guy just never stops. He just goes, and it's crazy. I do know because you put in the time and the work and all that, but it's just I just don't have the guts for that, dude. It's just I don't want to mess up, sort of thing.
And then you gotta watch that beautiful intro again.
Mm-hmm. Where's the water hag? Bartz is already every bit an adventurer. He's a seasoned adventurer already. He doesn't need any training. Especially compared to Gloof. When you're comparing yourself to Gloof, you're already a winner. Okay, so Finally setting off here. Almost gonna be hitting our next gameplay section, not quite. When you're ready to leave, Ferris here is gonna join your crew officially. Leave all them pirates behind. And then we'll be off. I'm gonna let that one go, Crow. Next time I'm banning you. Just kidding. Nice combo. Alright, so we got our party. We're gonna walk on this here boat, and then you thought we were gonna play video games, but we're not. We're gonna go into another cutscene. This game's pretty good about that.
So you're gonna see some tech here coming up, and it's gonna look really, really minor, but I bet it plays a huge role in the overall route. Certain tiles in this game do not increase the danger, the threat count, and you're gonna see that when he goes through the doors coming up in Torna Canal. He'll walk a kind of a path against the north wall. He will go over the left tile in front of the door, which will never have an encounter, or not raise the threat rate at all, I should say, and then go through the door on the right side. And that saves you a tile, I believe, correct?
Yep.
So just something little like that, but I'm sure it's integral to the overall step route.
Yeah.
And that's something that you would never really know by watching. You can just walk back and forth on those two tiles in front of the door, and you'll never get into any.
That's right. We will get 2 encounters in here, but yeah, you can just run from them. It's also like the dungeon. You're the boat, but you're also in a dungeon, so you can dash at thief speed in the boat too. I actually didn't know that when I first started speedrunning this game, which is kind of embarrassing, but
You just moved without holding B?
yeah, I just walked, basically. Kind of embarrassing, but what are you gonna do? Alright, chat, how many successful menus out of a lot of menus do you think I'll have in this run? So far there's been 2 menus and I've messed them both up. So I want some numbers in the chat here. $69 successful menus. Got it. 1, 3, 0, 5, 7.
So we got a lot of faith coming out from the
Yeah.
chat. There's a lot of menus in this game. I don't
It's
know if
like-
y'all know that. There's a ton of menus.
It's like they know who they're dealing with. There are a lot of menus, so I'm enjoying these lowball guesses.
Prove them wrong, dude.
We also got good RNG on this fight. This boss can stun, and it doesn't like mean anything. Like it's not like it's epic bad or whatever, but you do get to go a little bit faster. Getting 4 bolts off and then 2 bolts off rather than 3 bolts and then 3 bolts. It's like a tad faster.
Interesting.
Got him. And so that's why we have Bolt. That might, if I recall correctly, might be literally the only time that I use Bolt. It's just because Carlo Boss is weak against Bolt. So, and I don't really have a lot to at my disposal right now, so you just spam it on him. This is the run.
Oh, for sure.
Alright, so we lose our dragon, stranded on our ship. It's cutscene time, of course. Gotta get to know your party members, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And then once the 2 cutscenes are over, it's menu time. So let's see if we can already beat out some of those 0 guesses.
This will be a fairly straightforward menu, I think, right? It's job change equipment. I guess that's all of them, but...
Yeah, it's just blue mages again and thief.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours. Not quite 2 hours. Might be like an hour 45 or something like that. So, a lot. Sorry, y'all. That menu is actually pretty good. See ya, zeros.
And so the one thing that I really, really like about Final Fantasy V menus in particular is that when you change job, you immediately go into the equipment screen for that character, and so it just flows so well. You know, you can really just customize every menu. It's really straightforward, I think. I feel like that's a much more streamlined way to do it than like spell and then go back into the menu, or job and go back to the menu, and go to equipment.
Alright.
Got some good walking going on here. So you blew 3 steps there, or 4?
Which room? Blew a lot of steps.
Yeah, I guess you did. 16, 8, 10, 4, and 2. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. So as mentioned before, this game is fully step routed from front to back as long as you're able to keep it. Both to minimize the number of encounters you get, because even though you essentially have guaranteed runaways, that's still a handful of seconds every encounter. So if you minimize that amount, then you can minimize the time you lose. But also built in within the step route are specific encounters that you want, maybe for levels or for steals or something like that. So all of that stuff is tracked throughout the entire game, which again is why the speedrun can be kind of tough to take on, because you have to do all that stuff correctly. I mean, you can do a slower route with no step route for sure, but if you want to go for the faster times, then you have to learn it and you have to be able to do it.
Yeah, the run's very volatile. Isn't capture is still used, correct?
Yes.
So that's one of the big things, is just getting the formations that you want to capture, you know, without having to walk back and forth and run from encounter in an area. It saves a huge chunk of time over the course of the run.
Okay, so next up is Siren. This is also an RNG boss. You don't necessarily lose a billion for things going wrong, but you can definitely lose some time. And as per usual, there is a worst case scenario, but ideally, so I mean, it is a worst case scenario. It doesn't come up very often at all. So you're really just looking at, like, is it the fastest fight possible, or is it a little bit slower? It's not really a big deal. Sorry if you can hear all that too. My neighbors are like rolling their trash cans back or something like that. My walls don't really block a whole lot sound-wise or temperature-wise.
I relate to both of those things.
If we're lucky, you can either hear my roommate's cat whine for food later, or my roommate sneeze. We can all enjoy that together.
I am quivering with anticipation. this boss is undead and is weak to healing, but instead the strategy you choose is Goblin Punch. Is that just a
Well,
matter of...
Siren has two forms, like a live form or whatever, and an undead form. So she actually doesn't start off being weak to healing or anything like that.
That's right. So you use the Goblin Punches to change form.
We hopefully will be skipping the form change also. You just gotta punch her to death. So we're gonna wait for Ferris and see if something happens. Haste, that's bad, because she'll get an additional turn, but those additional turns could be friendly. And then we're just gonna line up 3 Goblin Punches. They have the weapons that I have, and you can see the damage is outrageous. Goblin Punch does 8 times damage as long as you're the same level as the boss. The way they kind of get around that, this boss is level 2. You basically wouldn't ever be level 2 under normal circumstances, but here's our speedrun. So that's the kind of stuff you don't want to see. Damage spell, okay. Could be worse. So this is exactly why I picked up the extra Phoenix down, because otherwise I would be short 1 if something like this happened. But it's okay, we have it, so we're still fine. And so this would just be an example of a slower fight, but obviously like I wasn't in any real danger or anything like that. Haste is just bad because she gets an additional turn, so not only is that just more time in general for her to take actions, but also you have that really small chance that not only one of her turns is a damage spell, but both of them are a damage spell, at which point in time I don't have the resources for that, so... but thankfully that didn't happen.
And so, in a marathon setting, if that were to happen, would you use your Phoenix down and somehow try to make it without the other one?
If she had used the second one, then I would have just dealt with it. We would have just kept going.
I see. Okay. And so, you're seeing Vic take advantage of a mechanic in the step manipulation, where if you walk onto a tile, and I believe the first frame that you're standing still, and the X button is pressed, it's not that complicated. You just, as soon as you start moving to the next tile, you press X and hold it, and it buffers the menu, and it also cancels the step as far as, you know, it counting towards the threat counter that determines your encounters. And so that's going to be used in certain places, and you'll see him, you know, not only do that, but then use it as an opportunity to menu as well.
So we're gonna take another fight to level up. Freaking leather shoes, dude. Messing up my inventory.
Inventory management is huge in this, is it not?
Yeah.
And you spend a lot of time in downtime in battle, whenever you can, really, messing with the inventory.
So we actually won't be leveling for this boss, it's for the one after, but still need it. So menuing, there's actually 2 functions in the overworld. You can be on an overworld tile, hit the menu button, and in certain scenarios it'll change the threat counter for when your next encounter is. And then you can also, mid-step, buffer the menu and then hop into the menu exactly as countdown is strat, and it won't register the step. And so actually in the walk that I did both of those. Both the kind of delay and encounter, that's what the first menu was in each walk, and then 2 others were interrupting the step with a menu, and if I had not done that, I would have gotten an encounter on that step. So we essentially skipped those encounters. So I'm going to wait for, it just says action again. This is a normal death that happens. This is always going to happen, it's just a matter of who. So it's not a big deal. And then from there, it's really, really, really important that I stay in critical HP. And the weird thing in this game is that the life spell will revive you at critical HP, but the Phoenix Down actually will not. And so that's exactly why I had to equip the knife and actually strike my own person to put them back into critical HP. This is also exactly why I poisoned my party on purpose, so that their HP would drop and put them in critical HP. Not that I would have survived the damage spell at my level anyway, but yeah. So I do apologize, you're actually going to see the poison blur for quite a while. There's going to be no real way and no real reason anyway for me to take it off. So your screens are going to be blurry for a while. I apologize. Up until about an hour into the speedrun, a little bit less. But yeah, we took a pit stop all the way in Carwin before we came to this mountain just for that ice rod. That ice rod one-shots Magissa, and since she just dies, she does not call her boy, or I forget his name, Forza? Was it Forza or something like that?
Falzer, Forza, whatever.
Something like that.
I don't know what it actually is.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't seen him in years.
Right. So yeah, if you do a, like, I think it's her second turn, or is it damage based on when she spawns in? Because you would have no reason to know.
Yeah. I actually had never played this game casually until after I started speedrunning it.
Really?
Yeah, I know, it's like completely against the norm. Like, people usually speedrun stuff they know. I mean, I knew the game, but like, I didn't know it like that.
It's interesting. I have a game that I speedran that I did not play casually, but I'm embarrassed to say which one. So I won't. And it will forever be a secret.
Yeah, I actually only initially picked up the game for the first time because I'd already learned categories and speedruns of 4 and 6, so it was like, you know, it would be cool to learn 5 and just speedrun all 3 of the SNES Final Fantasies. That's really how that started. My first casual play of the game was actually just a 4-job Fiesta, like, years ago. And then I never played it again. But yeah. And so, I don't know. It's weird.
Meteor.
So I had to put the broadsword back on for Lena, changed everybody besides Lena to a thief because we were actually going to be aiming for a steal in the next dungeon. And then I changed the battle speed for my own safety. That's actually a half step or non-step, whatever, onto the vehicle there as well to save yourself a stat. But then you don't want one right here, so I lag like way too long to make sure I don't screw it up. Alright, I'm gonna stay focused now. Just suffice to say, I'm trying to steal a mithril sword here. Nice, I got it. See ya.
First try steal. And so when you see Vic blowing steps in a dungeon, when he goes through a door transition, if he were to get an encounter on that tile, the step that he goes through the transition, then the encounter just won't happen. And so I don't know how much of your step blowing is related to that.
Yeah, a lot of it.
But I do know that's okay. But some of it just contributes to the overall step count. It's a very neat. It's cool that like in dungeons, the mechanic of opening your menu and skipping a step does not work. That only works in the overworld. So that's like a kind of a neat replacement. It's not exactly the same, but functionally similar.
Got him. And so there's Galura. That's exactly why I wanted all my party members at critical HP, is then you put a knight in your party, and the knight auto guards your critical teammates. So I did have to use potions on Ferris to get her to full. That's why I needed to make sure I only used so many potions. You might have noticed I used all the ones that I had left. Galura is a completely physical boss with counterattacks, so you don't get the guard off before Galura goes once, so Ferris will take a hit, but from there the guard function stays, and she will take 0 damage, and you just Goblin Punch your way to victory, which is why I needed to level up once. And then the Mithril Sword basically shaves the amount of turns it takes to kill the boss. You might have seen it did 496 damage, and it speeds up the fight immensely. Huge difference from much older routes too, where you just would have just done essentially the same strategy, but it would have been a lot slower. And yeah, there's our next set of jobs. And we are still poisoned, so there you go. Yeah, as mentioned before, I'm missing a lot of stuff in chat during gameplay sessions, so if you have stuff you need to talk about, hit me up on cutscenes. But I see it's mostly comments about my bad luck. So, yeah. Welcome to twitch.tv/Bichphuongballz, live on twitch.tv/RPG Limit Break. And Sildra's back, but for one last time. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Sildra, no. One last time. You will never see Sildra again. So, if you want to pay respects, feel free. We will not catch Sildra later, promise. We will not see Sildra ever again. Is this a better game than Phantasy Star 4? As a game? Or as a speedrun? Luck-wise? What's better, good luck or bad luck? Alright, that's two menus right there.
Nicely done.
Sorry, all you one-guessers.
So Lena is a red mage.
Yes.
Why?
Just because she's gonna use a heal spell later. There's nothing like you specifically need from it or anything like that.
Well, I was gonna say, why not a white mage, I guess. Red mages are probably more VP.
Okay, so we're sold off a bunch of our stuff, and at this moment in time, everything's at a heavily discounted price. You try to buy something, says you can't, you get arrested. What actually happens is you do end up buying whatever you tried to buy. And so we're gonna rod it up right now, so we did get one rod at a discount, and then we'll be buying all the other rods full price. Why not White Mage? I don't recall the job layout right now, but I bet it's just less inputs to do Red Mage since it's just 2 lefts.
I love that. That's my favorite reason. I really hope it's that.
Because you definitely like don't learn anything from being a Red Mage or anything like that. So.
Right.
And yeah, sorry, we are poisoned until after Steamship. We will finally take a pot at the beginning of Karnak Escape to get rid of the poison, but in the meantime, we are still poisoned. To answer your question, Phantasy Star 4 has way more luck-based stuff than this game does. Like, way more. Which of course makes Phantasy Star 4 the superior game, I guess. Why control anything in your speedrun? Just let Jesus take the wheel in all aspects.
Come on, Vic, I thought you were a TCG player. Phantasy Star 4 clearly takes more skill than this game.
So
As we know.
Yeah.
It's all skill.
All skill. Love TCG. Miss it. So we get poison to get into critical, and then we stay poisoned because there's really no way to get unpoisoned. I don't even have them. Like, I could, technically, I guess, buy some antidotes right now, but, like, why would I do that, right? So.
You don't even have a knight for cover, so it's, like, actually pointless to be poisoned at the moment, other than, you know, you don't have an easy way to get rid of it.
Yeah. So again, sorry, at least there's no annoying noise or anything along with it. You just have to deal with the blurriness until that part's over. But if it bugs you, I do apologize. And after that apology, I'm going to move on with my life, because...
So considerate.
I know.
That was what I was going to say before you started saying that second part.
Okay, so actually back to town so we can buy more rods for our next segment. So now I have a grand total of 3 ice rods and 2 thunder rods. When you break a rod in this game, and you do break it, it's a consumable one time only. It will bust out, I think, the level 3 version of that spell. So they're quite powerful and a really easy way to deal a bunch of damage this early in the game and at my level. So that's how we'll be pushing our way through these segments of the game. And we're about to start a dungeon, so serious time again, I guess. For me, anyway.
You don't care if I talk, do you?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm just not gonna talk. I might react to stuff, but not like a full conversation or something.
So you're gonna see Pick blowing steps in pretty much every room in a ridiculous fashion. And you just don't want to get into an encounter here because you're poisoned and you have no HP. And so, this is just... It's very important to keep it, especially through this segment. also the Karnak escape that he mentioned earlier. It's coming up after this segment. One of the main reasons, this is pretty much like the biggest, it's kind of the point where you really need it. Getting into an encounter with a certain encounter in there with a soldier and 2 wolves, it takes a long, long time to fight, and you cannot run from it unless you are exceptionally lucky. So, even new players of this game, it might be intimidating to learn, 4 hours of step routing, but at the very least, it's like, just get through Karnak escape. That's a good starting point.
That's 3.
Nicely done. Pog champion menus.
This fight's also RNG. We'll see what happens. Rush. We want to see Tornado? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That sounds good. Tornado both gives you a higher money drop. Money is nice, and then it's also just faster. If you get hand form, you can't hurt it with ice or magic, so you have to hit it again. Someone will die. You have to take the time to revive them, and then switch form again. So at the very least, it takes a whole extra round, and then you could also just get human form again.
Yeah, attacking the hand form counters that with Fire 2 on a character, which is just bad.
Yeah.
You waste a bunch of time. So yeah, good skill. So even though we broke the crystal, we won't be getting the spoils just yet.
Yeah, that's right. But after the series of cutscenes and we start the escape, then we'll be carrying the poison. So your eyes will be safe soon enough. We will get poisoned one more time in this run, I believe, but it won't last very long. But in this part of the game, basically you're trying to save all the crystals, and then you fail to save any of them each and every time. It's pretty good.
What?
What's up, y'all? Thank you for joining me on November the 14th, 2019 for Questing for Glory for this Final Fantasy V speedrun. I picked it back up this year in late May, early June with the intent of finally learning full game step route and doing runs. And then I did that. My PB is 3 hours and 41 minutes and 33 seconds. And this is actually my first marathon showing of this game with full game step route, in theory anyway. I have run this game before a couple times in the past in 2016, but there was no step route at the time. So, or I mean, there was, but kind of as Countdown said, I only really ever kept it through Karnak Escape. So, we're here chilling. Thank you for joining me, and I'll be starting up this escape here You actually don't have to dash on purpose now. You can just hit the D-pad. You actually move at dash speed. I will be hitting the jar there to heal up, and then I'm going to make 2 pit stops in this dungeon for money. That would be the first one there. And then unfortunately there is one unavoidable encounter, so you have to take it
This is the encounter I was talking about that you don't want to get in here. That kind of want to keep the step route.
Yeah, so you can get a similar encounter to that one inside the castle that you don't want. That one you have to get no matter what. But again, like, not a big deal. You save up some money and then you buy some excuse me, some rods, and it's a non-issue.
Gotcha.
So my inventory is a little wonky because I don't have any potions, but otherwise it's decent. So we're gonna make yet another trip into town to buy stuff, including more rods, and then we're gonna hit the library. So 2 mithril knives, they are used in dupes as well as upping your speed. And then I gotta concentrate. The rods, you could probably guess what they're for without me telling you.
They do lots of damage. So this is a really important step. Manipulation area. Getting into a fight with a manticore on that desert, on those desert tiles, is especially bad. I believe you straight up just cannot run from them.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I think you can, it's just probably hard. I'm pretty sure I've gotten it before. Like, ages ago. Okay, to move on, you have to do this Ifrit fight. You'll get the summon. I will never use a summoner. Nice preemptive. But you have to do this anyway, so it's whatever. And 2 ice rods will do it.
To have the power of Ifrit's fire to pass through a certain checkpoint in the library. Otherwise, you just straight up can't progress until you
Exactly. Mithril knives for speed, kunai also, and then for the same purpose, and then rods for damage, and then the life spell, probably also self-explanatory. As I was mentioned before, critical HP is pretty important in this game, and life will revive you at crit HP. It's just Phoenix down, it's not down.
I'm not sure I follow it. You're saying life will revive somebody that's already alive?
No, it will revive you and put you at critical HP.
I see what you're saying. The
Whereas-
Phoenix Down gives you like a percentage of your max HP, right?
Yeah.
I must have misheard you.
Okay, then we'll move on to Biblos. And it will go pretty much the same as Ifrit, just different type of rod. Just wait to see what he does, and then rod him to death. Oh, rarely seen physical. So I actually will not be able to adjust my inventory, but I don't have to. So I'm pausing here because, as you can see, Lena's just kind of standing there like an idiot and not doing the Phoenix Down, and I want Ferris alive, so I have to sit and wait for it. Thankfully, I believe my inventory is correct right now, outside of not having any potions, so it's not really a big deal.
I was expecting a bigger time loss than that. You were only standing for like a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, it's not like so much like, oh my god, I lost so much time. It's just like, you just have to be kind of cognizant of it, because if you just mash through your rods, then you'll kill the boss before you revive.
Okay.
Which is just really annoying. And then we're going to set up our first dupe. Let's see. A little too slow. Okay, so older routes used dupes before. We're just going to use them in different spots now. So what you do is you have an item on slot 1, and then you have a weapon that the ninja can use somewhere next to it. And then you swap those items so that the weapon's on the top slot, and then you equip the weapon. And then you go into the throw menu and throw where your weapon was, but now it's an empty slot. So you throw the empty slot and you kind of underflow the item slot. Then I put an ether in there, used one, which will, I guess that technically does the underflowing. And now I have 255 ethers in that item slot that I'm going to use to sell for money. It will be the second time we dupe stuff, or sorry, the first of 2 times we will dupe stuff in this game.
So do you do that? Oh, okay, never mind. But is the second time coral swords, or do you not do those?
You don't do coral swords anymore.
And is that because it's easier? You can do it earlier in the route. It's easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Or
more.
the route change necessitated it, I guess.
It's just more optimized to do it this way.
Okay. Because ethers don't sell for very much, do they?
You get a good chunk of money selling 255 of them, so
You sell all of them.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
We're also
Yeah.
here to catch a monster as well.
See a broadsword.
Okay. So yeah, we did the dupe. Now I'm gonna have a lot of money. I can use that to buy a bunch of items that will help me progress, as well as it's a starting stash to start throwing some gil once I have access to being able to do so. And that money will carry me for quite a while. The only time I really sell anything in bulk again is pretty much the end of the game. So we're going to be riding on this money stash. I mean, we'll be picking up money chests here and there too, but yeah, that's like my kind of main stash right now. And then we also caught that monster. We'll be using it later. And so you kind of see like some of the, like almost all of the components of the step route come into play in that segment, where not only did I push an encounter to a specific spot, I knew where it's going to happen. I knew what encounter it was going to be, and I was not the one who planned this. Of course, other people did the work for that. But yeah, you kind of seeing like all the components in play of like in that world map section, minimizing the amount of encounters that I got in total. I got one, and I only got one because I wanted that one. And not only did I get that one, it was the exact encounter that I wanted. And that's, you know, all completely planned for, routed for, and all that jazz. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, instead of having to sit there and grind for the encounter with the 3 different enemies, the zoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Turtle.
So it's one of those situations where it's like, do you have to have a step route to do that? Like, no. But like, I could just have to sit there for forever and wait for that encounter. That's not exactly fast.
Remember waiting for the goblin punch? Now imagine that, but grinding encounters.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know how to pronounce it, like Aegil or something like that. I have no idea. A-E-G-I-L.
Yeah, that's what I said in my head when I read it.
We got a decent stretch of cutscene here, so, I don't know. I'm not sure if we've missed anything route-wise so far, but, kind of the gist of the route is really thinking on 2 scales of, like, okay, you know a bunch of endgame bosses you're gonna hit eventually, or late-game bosses, second half, whatever, and you're gonna want certain abilities, like in this case, like, I need guild tosses, I need mixes, I need things like that, I need escapes, I need blah blah blah, right? And keeping that in mind, and also recognizing you have bosses that you have to do right now, and how do you prepare for those, and then in thinking about like, okay, so what jobs do people need to be at any given time, both to get you through where you are now, and also for party members to have what they need for later. And I can only imagine what kind of planning goes into something like that. Like, I very much do not have, like, a sort of, like, routing brain or anything like that. And so it's, like, it's definitely really cool. Much respect to the people who come up with this stuff. It's, like, something I can never really do. Yeah, but that's really the gist of it. You kind of have, like, the job routing aspect of it, and then, of course, putting in the work for step routing, and not only, again, minimizing encounters, but also, like, hey, I need to level up. How do I work this encounter in? Or I need this steal. I need this catch. How do I work that in? And that's kind of the gist of what it's all about. And then of course you gotta execute as well. And then I'm gonna be quiet again pretty soon. We have an epic boat ride, and you do have to do some step routing stuff here. It can be hard to keep track of, so I'll be focusing on that. And here we go.
So some of the tiles, imagine the world on an 8x8 grid, and some of those squares, let's call them, you can also just not get into encounter. And in addition to that, you can also do half steps in the boat. And so while there's like, when you're in the water, you have so much less of a frame of reference, like when you're walking, as opposed to when you're walking on land. So moving well and accurately in the water is definitely requires a lot of concentration.
Yeah. So there is like as Kanta mentioned, this big kind of section where you don't get encounters, and you're actually attempting to dodge that entire section the whole time. You actually, and previously you tried to stay in there as much as possible, but with today's routing, you actually want to dodge all of it. From what I understand, until Dragon got his hands on it, the step routing in the ocean there was like impossible. Unless you were Japanese. Well, here we are, we made it. Got our hands on the black chocobo, almost, and then we will be off. Making more progress here on World 1. Black Chocobo used to be thought of as this game's Paladin or Kefka at Nirsh. It's a good length. You can, I think in my PB I have a 115, like a really high 115. I'm sure right now I have like a 118 or something like that. So it's right at that length, but it's definitely less exciting. Way more cutscenes than the others.
When is your time end for this subcategory?
Right now. Right there.
1:17:06.
117. Not too shabby. The patch does not affect the RNG, no. Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
I mean, you guys copied, or not copied, but you do strats that Japanese runners do,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We're doing the same exact thing. So, yeah, I can't imagine it affects it at all. Having now thought about it more than not at all. Okay, we're stopped by Bartz's hometown to buy a bunch of stuff again, and we have a boatload of things to sell, so we're in there now. So we sell all those and those. Okay, so 41 Thunder Skulls, because we're going to be using a lot of those. 1 Water Scroll for a level up battle a little bit later. 5 Shuriken. 3 of them for a boss. 4 of them for a boss. 1 of them to level up with. 11 kunai. You don't need 11 kunai. You need like 6, but or 5 even. But you may as well just buy 11 because it's less inputs. And then speed boosting armor.
Yeah, you can, when you're buying items, you just press up to increment by 10. So it's easier to just press up once, then press right 6 times.
Now we're going to farm magic dragons for a little while. They're going to be very fast kills, and they're going to give me a lot of experience. Because even though I have some perhaps OP strats going on, you need the levels. You're still going to be taking hits, and so you still got to level up in this game.
Another part of the step manipulation also is not getting the random encounter here.
Yeah, exactly. So I will not be running into the old man at all. Percent. Never from me. Alright, then we're back to the library to push forward on the game, then we're gonna head to the desert. So I wonder if anybody in this chat has ever watched me run Phantasy Star 4, because we're actually about to run into a familiar foe. Pretty soon, not like literally right now, but in the next dungeon. I have no other way at all to kill those enemies, if not by using Thunder Scrolls, and also I have lots of money, so it's not really an issue. And yeah, I saw your comment earlier. I bet routing games is super fun. I don't know. I just don't have the mind for it. Alright. So if there's any Phantasy Star 4 fans out there, we're about to fight your boy. You don't know who your boy is? Your boy, the Sandworm.
My guy.
Except, it's gonna be a lot different this time around.
Yeah, no Grizz.
Best RNG, too. So you just throw 3 of your 5 shurikens at it and he dies. That's it. See you, Sandworm, dude. Feels so good every time, dude. Every time. I hate Sandworm. Alright, now to navigate the desert. No. Not that. So there's your water scroll usage there, just to quickly get some AP and some experience. An encounter here. We're just gonna run from that one. And then we're gonna get on out of here. And that's it. When you know your way around the desert, it goes by rather quickly. Do I sound like El Magus? Well, we do live together, so maybe that's what it is. Here's where you have to play hide and seek, but if you just know a couple spots to go, then you can just move forward. And then it's Cutscene City. I'm not gonna dab for you or anybody else. Sorry, not sorry. Plot twist, Magus is running this. He would be going a lot slower then.
Got him.
Which I really couldn't say about very many games, but I could say about this game. I'm trying to think. I've never routed a game. I think in a couple of games I've run a very long time. I've contributed like 1 or 2 very small things. I contributed like doing a certain menu like mid-misclick or something like that in FF4. And then I did a little bit of stuff for Legends 3. And then a little bit for Phantasy Star 4. I think that's about it. And the thing is, which should not be surprising at all, is that like I didn't sit down and be like, what if I did this, and then like timed it all out and stuff like, you know, real routers do. I was just like, I'm gonna do this, and then I just did it, and then other people are sometimes like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, oh, okay. I have my idiot savant moments, I guess. But they are very, 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 very few.
It's
Parasite Eve the best Final Fantasy? It's definitely got the best waifu.
It sure does.
Alright, so it's here that we find the airship. We will have to get through a quote-unquote boss before we get free reign of it, but we have it. Yo. BDD. Some diener.
So, did you happen to see the most recent finding about Rainbow Wind?
About Rainbow Wind?
Actually, I think it was you who linked it to me, now I think of it.
Yeah.
So of course you did. So how much of a game changer is that?
It's cool. It makes the fight a little bit more nerve-wracking because you have to count damage, and I almost never count damage in any context because I'm bad, but it's definitely a heck of a lot faster. Like, so much faster. So you can't really hate on it. Instead of like using a billion rods and using geomancers and things like that. I do kind of miss the pajama party, but other than that. Alright, we got Crayclaw. We're gonna use a Thunder Scroll and a Thunder Scroll. And then I'm gonna sit here and hold the A button because the battle's over. Because he's also weak to Thunder. So that's done. And now we got an airship. Which we already know how to drive. Fly? Pilot?
Well, Pilot, sure.
Okay, so I'm just gonna trigger the next sequence here. I'm gonna try to go to the Earth Crystal, but it's gonna rise from its
Ultra One, the farthest
those. People do things. Hang on one sec, actually. Anyway, people do things and they don't tell you they're gonna do those things. And then you're like, oh, okay. Anyway. And, alright, so I'll count you down on go. 3, 2, 1, go. So I just picked up the adamantium, and we're gonna go red mage. And now that we have the adamantium, we're gonna get jumped by our boy Timmy.
Now, how are Thunder Squirrels stronger than Adamantium? Can you tell me that?
You know, I don't have an advanced degree. Not sure. None of my settings have changed, so sorry about that. Sure hope so. Nothing happened. Yeah, so, dude. I don't want to be, like, too much of a negative Nancy, but they needed to change our frickin' cable modem, and so they literally, they being my roommate, unplugged the internet, unplugged the modem, and then changed the modem, and that's when my internet went down. It's like, it'd be nice to know you wanted to do that. I would have been like, how about, 3 hours from now? But oh well, whatever. Life happens, it's fine. Does this reset the menu counter? Come on! I was at like 6, dude. Alright, well I'm at 1 again then, if that's the case. Sorry all you 0 people. Alright, so now we're hitting the fortress here. You gotta destroy all the small guns so you can fight the big gun. And again, we bought 41 Thunder Scrolls for a great many reasons, including getting through all this stuff insanely quickly. So here we are. Spam 2 Thunder Scrolls per battle. Call it a day. It's true, I am known for loading save states in marathons, so I could have done that.
Hey, you too.
The protect potions we don't really need at all, but the speed potions are actually going to get used this run. So I will happily take those. Soul Cannon. The strategy for the small cannons was spam Thunder Scroll, so you can imagine the strategy for the big cannon is spam Thunder Scrolls.
No.
Now, I bet some of you believe in your heart of hearts that maybe 41 Thunder Scrolls is too many. I say nay. Even though technically it is Tina, you don't use 41 Thunder Scrolls in this run, but close enough, dude.
So how much HP? The body has what, like 10,000 HP or something?
Let's see, you gotta throw 9 Thunder Scrolls at it, so that sounds probably a little bit more than 10k. I mean, it's gotta be more than 10k, because you're doing like 1,500 per scroll, and you use like 9 of them. No math, though, this is a mathless run.
Right. Exactly. But still, that's a huge amount of HP for something to have. You know, I feel like that was a bit of a difficulty spike at this point in the game. People kind of got to this boss and were like, whoa.
Yeah. This is like my first...
Especially
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, this guy's got missile too. Makes your characters bleed.
Yeah.
That's not fun. So it was nice to be able to just cheese him with Thunder Scrolls.
I agree.
That we bought from a fraudulent 255 ether.
Shopkeeper thought they were real. That's all that matters.
Good enough for government work.
So we'll be getting into 3 encounters in this dungeon, and we'll be taking 2 of them for experience in AP. In this room, I believe. I say mathless. Technically, the boss of this dungeon requires a little bit of math, to the point to be like extra safe. I'm probably going to be dumb and like pause the game and literally add the numbers up instead of doing it all on the fly. But I promise, outside of that, mathless.
Yeah, you're definitely not counting steps or anything.
Nah. Okay, this is a serious time for me, because counting is really hard.
I will not talk.
Oh my god, 820. So that's 15. That's a billion damage. I'm not even gonna count. I'm just gonna do it. We just did a billion damage, dude. This is the run. Boom! Boom! Alright, so if you're familiar with this boss, you know it has multiple forms. So you deplete it of 1600 HP, it changes form. You do that like 3 times, and then it comes back and blah blah blah. You gotta deal with it, right? There were always strats for it, you just had to go through all the forms and all that stuff. So the key is that it will actually not trigger the action to change forms if it dies by sap. So the reason why I caught that monster after the library is releasing it causes the sap status, where you just lose HP per second or whatever. So the key is to go fast, because you also can't sit there and just wait out 1600 damage worth of HP. You'll die before that happens. Is that you throw a shuriken and a thunder scroll, and you'll do anywhere between like 1400 and like 15 something. And I also gave all of my members black magic, so that if I rolled low damage, I could also cast fire to spike that up to closer to 1600, and then you sap and then just let the HP run out. So that's how that fight worked. This is a really, really long sequence of cutscenes, so I'm actually gonna take a short break. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Our boy X-Death. Our soon-to-be tree person, X-Death.
He's like much of a tree at the moment.
Yeah. He's working on it.
What I always found hilarious was that the scale of X-Death's actual battle sprite to your battle sprites compared to the overworld sprites.
Look, Nacho. How many times have I run a marathon run in this channel with an estimate of 420? And how many times did I fail to get 420? I can't do it anymore, man. I can't do it. I don't even know, Palmer, how many times it was. It was a lot. I had 420s for this game. I had 420s for FF6 for quite a while. I had 420 for Phantasy Star for quite a while. I'd done a lot of 420 estimates, and I didn't make it a single time. Not once.
Just too good.
Yeah, totally.
You handle it.
How many marathon FF sketch runs did FF6 sketch runs did I do, dude? A ton. Got like anywhere between like 355 and like 405 every time. How many times did I sing that freaking opera, dude? No more.
Oh man, the tech was all about playing videos over the opera instead. Like Toto's Africa.
The Littlest Hobo, of course.
Yeah, or The Littlest Hobo, exactly.
Or taking my stream out for a date. That was...
Oh yes.
Good days, dude. 2016 was a wild year.
How many people do you know can say that they've taken their stream out on a date live on Twitch.tv?
Just one.
I know one person and I'm talking to him.
I did try hard on Phantasy Star, it's true. I died twice. I heinous out of the air castle. Still beat 420.
Oh no, you did? How far in?
I don't remember.
It took me a second to remember what spell Heinous was.
I think I still got sub 4 even. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. That run was like horrifyingly bad. But at that point, you just like you underflow right past being negative about it, and then you just roll with it.
Just gotta laugh.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool. I always liked this about this game was the different worlds. I remember hearing about them being referenced like before I had actually played the game, and thought that was like it's like, how the hell are they going to make that work? And it turns out it's pretty cohesive.
Tyler, thank God neither of us pulled that. When we raced, that would have been so bad, dude. Not a bad menu, but it was not a good menu. It was a so-so menu. Alright, so we're on the kind of meteor fetch quests here. And then we'll be wrapping up World 1. World 1's like the same length as World 2 and 3 combined, basically. Oh. And then I sat there after the cutscene was over. Not for very long, but I do that from time to time. Okay, we're gonna do Waltz first. I was too sick to think of too much either, dude. Okay, so first instance of Guild Toss, we have the Samurai from the Earth Crystal now. So the general idea is that it costs X amount of money per level per target, and then also does a certain amount of damage based on level versus times the value versus their defense, if I recall correctly. And so, ooh, I kind of went the wrong way. That's fine. And that's one way to kill all of those things all at the same time, and you don't have to worry about their gimmick. You also saw me set a memory cursor, so I have a Giant's Potion or whatever now that I'm going to use on Titan, or in the Titan battle. So I'm just kind of setting the cursor there, but I'm not using it yet. Next will be the Chimera Brain, who will require 2 Guild Tosses, who will also outturn me. So the ideal is that it's a physical on not Bart's, but it's an Aqua Wake, so of course that wasn't going to work out. It's not an issue at all, I just have to heal And it's just an extra menu to heal Bards, so I lose a little bit of time. It's not like it's a big thing. Yeah, what's up, Couch? Thank you. Throwing money. Costs money. That's true, yeah. World 3 is quite intense, but we won't be seeing any of it. Good point, good point, good point. Okay, so I'll have to drop one of my eye potions, and then we will move on. To the last meteor, which will be the Karnak meteor. And we will face Titan. So you may remember real old school strategies where you gill tossed and then you had Bart's jump to avoid that. So now what we're going to do instead is not do that. Instead we're going to use that Giant's Potion on Bart's instead to double his HP, and now he'll survive the Quake. This would normally be my Titan split, so I will assume it's maybe like 153. 153 Titan. FF3 had a job system, but it was definitely a game where you had to use certain jobs, in my opinion.
So 152.20.
152? Hot dang. I have a 149.50 or something like that in my PB. So that's pretty good. Alright, y'all. That's World 1 in the books.
Not bad.
Overalls and cowboy hat. A look only the sacred have seen. Everybody else is forced to use their imagination. Or, you know, not think about it at all, because they don't know me like that. But maybe you should know me like that. Anybody want to know me like that?
Definitely. In fact, I think I already do.
That's true, you definitely do. Oops. This was not a good menu.
Oh, man. Where's Palmer?
I haven't even been keeping track since the reset either, to be honest. So I put Butts in the front row. I took one of his pieces of armor off to slow his speed down. And then I used the tent, because you have to use a tent to progress the game.
You slow yourself down because you have to wait for a Ducker to attack anyway, right?
It's for, like, later fights. Not really right now. But also, now that you bring it up, though, I do need it for Abductor anyway, because outside of a situation like this, where you use Hurricane, it's possible that I survive attacking myself after he attacks me. So, yes, I forgot about that little tidbit.
Well, I wasn't sure if that was on purpose or not.
You're not even supposed to have, like, 2 pieces of armor on him, 3 pieces of equipment. You're supposed to have 2 only, I think, or maybe just 1, maybe nothing. I don't even remember now. No, it should be at least something, but too many occurrences happened when I played, and I don't know why it happened, where Bart's was going last on Titan, and you you can't kill Titan if he hasn't taken his turn to double his HP. So it's
Right.
like, so it was just bad. So I just started putting extra speed equipment on him just to make sure that didn't happen.
Dude.
But later on, just like he can start cutting turns, and we're not going to be using him really right now. So, but yeah, you also have to take something off because he will probably survive striking himself in the abductor battle. So it's a little bit slower on my end to just make sure some like ATB shenanigans doesn't happen.
Right.
Your guess is 2, Palmer? I think we're at 1 because I stopped keeping track, and then the 2 I did keep track of were average. So I think we're at 1. What was I talking about before? I never met 420, yeah. And then I tried so hard to get owned during Palmer's marathon when I was running Phantasy Star 3, and it just didn't go bad enough. It was really sad. I just can't get the estimates right, dude. It's impossible. Alright, so we're at the rescue mission. I've already turned Galif into a thief, so I'm able to dash already. Otherwise, you could just do it now. It's not really a big deal. In fact, notes say to do it now. I just do it before. I don't really know why. And yeah, we're gonna get into one encounter. It's gonna happen right here. Is it a jail bear? It is a jail bear. Nice. It's my favorite.
He looks so innocent.
And we're gonna waltz up, become a samurai first. Yep, sorry.
The first instance of our boy, Gilgamesh.
Yep.
What a guy.
What a guy. He's got some business to take care of today, so... So we win. Thank you, Giltos.
Lucky for you. Yeah, imagine what kind of, like, level you have to be on as a society where you put a bear in jail.
I know, right? Alright, get your ears ready, my friends. It's about that time. For your music,
yeah.
Craigasm spam. I wanna see it, chat. I want to see it eventually, because I won't be looking at it now. Dodge. So 2 guild tosses will get him right to the cusp of where he'll switch phases, so I'm gonna wait out my other turns. Take a goblin punch, that's fine. And while he's yapping away, we're gonna manage some inventory.
I love it.
We're gonna try to manage our inventory. And vaguely succeed at it. Good enough. And then when you wait for everybody to queue up, you can just spam 2 guild tosses right away, and that way he doesn't get any more extra turns. You also notice my movement. There are forced encounters in here, but only in specific places. So we're gonna try to dodge them. And there you go. Thankfully, this is not the last time we're gonna hear this song. This song is epic, though. Big fan. Big fan. Not my favorite song, but I'm a big fan of that song.
Are you a submarine boy?
I'm a submarine boy.
Me too.
Hell yeah. Alright, we have a long world map section coming up. After this cutscene, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, first night I met Palmer, that happened. Limit Break 2018, out in front of the practice room. On a classy Wednesday night.
Nice.
Alright.
I forgot to ask, is there any particular reason why Gulliv was dead?
Just because he got targeted.
Let's see.
Someone's gonna die in that fight. So it just
How
happened
much-
to be him.
How much does that affect the round?
It doesn't affect the route at all.
Do you not? What?
Even if you do get something from Guild, which I don't think you do, it just someone's going to die. Like you can't
Right.
stop it. So,
Yeah, I don't think you do.
but yeah, I don't think you do either. Okay, now we're gonna buy some more stuff. After I sell a little bit, Ice Bow, Protect Potions, Thunder. I'm gonna buy 51, 21, 21, 11, 21, and 11. And then we're gonna keep on walking. Okay. So some of the things we bought are kind of self-explanatory. High potions, phoenix downs, like yeah. Maiden's Kisses, antidotes, revivifies, and eye drops. Antidotes we'll use because we'll get poison one more time anyway, but mostly all those items are for chemical mixes. I'm gonna take one of these battles because I need 1 AP outside of bosses and other stuff. So this place is interesting in that there is step routing, there still is minimizing encounters, but there are multiple spots in the water that are just forced encounters. No amount of step routing is going to change that. They're just going to be there all the time. But I'll be keeping myself from getting additional encounters on the ground. Vic loves chemistry, yeah. The chemistry between you and me. Mm-hmm. The man can flute, yes. Trained my whole life. This is just a side project. Alright, we got the Tyrosaur. It's an undead boss, so what you can do after you get punched in the face real quick is go into your inventory and throw a phoenix down and kill it. See ya. Goodbye. And now we're gonna get to the desert section. So normally you would get into a really tough encounter if you took a step on the desert. Or any steps in the desert. It doesn't have to be one. You can totally get away with some amount, you know, as threat counter and all that. But, so you would have to walk her all the way around. And instead, we're just gonna cut straight through, because, you know, step route and all that. I grow up, I don't want to be anything like Galuf. I hate that guy. You'll probably see why later in the run.
Gallop and Chaz, huh?
Alright, let me get through this segment here.
Very nice half step.
Alright. And obviously, you could probably notice I was going pretty careful, but even that's still going to be a billion times faster than having to walk all the way around. So, it's just one of those things. Like, what will always keep me from being, like, really fast is the fact that I'm, like, really cautious with my movement. I'm definitely being more cautious now than I usually am, but I'm, in general, very cautious with my movement anyway. So you'll see me, like, stutter my movement a lot, or you'll see me turn a corner early or try to turn a corner and do it early, and I'm typically doing that on purpose just to see where I land and be like, oh, okay, it's 2 more taps or 1 more tap to get to where I actually want to go. I do that a lot just to make sure I don't screw up.
Yeah, standing still or like turning in place doesn't increase your threat counter at all.
Yeah, so it's nice. Only taking the actual step changes anything. So it's not like, Lufia 2's manipulation can be tough because you do have to move perfectly. If you like move against the wall, you still take a step and it still forces NPC movement, and then you change your RNG. And so like you got to do things. I mean, obviously you can do things slowly in that one, but you can't like, you know, do what I do and like smack walls on purpose and stuff like that. So as tough as this step route can be, there's a couple of minor conveniences for sure. And now we have another huge section of cutscenes. Yeah, the first half of World 2 is just very cutscene driven.
Position. You get to go to Ball Castle and ball out. On
Ball out.
Doctor.
Perfect time for donation comments. Hit it, countdown.
Okay, I hit it. What happened?
Rip. Back to 0. You guys are making up your own rules.
You don't know what I hit, Palmer.
Alright, who was there when I ran into like 13 bombs in the Flame House in FF6 live at Limit Break 2015? You didn't have to be at the house live, but who was there when I ran into 12 bombs or 13 bombs or something like that?
I was watching. And enjoying. How about a lore update for us, Big?
A lore update? Man, when did we even last talk about the lore in this game?
We didn't. We have not talked a single word about the lore.
Alright, We got...
So Paris and Lena are sisters.
Yes.
That's it.
That's correct. They have the same father. No word about the mother.
Galuf got his memory back. He's actually a king.
Yes. He is a king. And one of the original Light Warriors, or Warriors of Light, to seal away the X-Death, who is now unsealed.
So, what, does that mean Chaos is X-Death?
I guess so.
Okay. That's kind of what it sounds like. So was Galuf like the black belt, or
Who's more worthless, the black belt or the thief? That's what Galuf is.
the thief? Definitely. Well,
Alright.
no, because that's a tough one. Are we talking about just the class itself, or what it becomes?
I don't
Master's
know.
pretty dope.
Aren't masters actually worse than black belts?
Are they? I actually know nothing about Final Fantasy 1.
Like
I haven't
ninjas.
played that game in like 6 years.
Ninjas are decent, if I recall correctly.
They
Thieves are
learn black
bad.
magic.
Right, exactly. And they actually start to do a little bit of damage. But, like, and then black belts just take freaking forever to get good. But once they're good, they're good. And then, but I feel like something about the master, like its staff growths are lower or something. I don't remember what it is, but it's something weird. I used to speedrun that game once upon a time, but I can't really claim to know anything about it. I'm gonna double check. Okay, I got some. Grab the exit spell. Good,
Definitely
good stuff.
need that.
Yeah. And then time to head out of the castle. I just stopped reviving my thief. Thieves would be pretty sick if their ability to run away effectively actually worked. But it doesn't. So really they're just there for no reason. They take more damage and they do less damage.
Do they not run away more efficiently than others?
Not in Ness. Nothing works in Ness, dude.
Goodness. Get the rematch with the Abductor, but this time we got Gildas. So, see ya. Black Belt is the only class that gets worse by promoting to Master. It loses magic defense gains per... Black Belt is 4 magic defense per level, but only 1 is Master.
Alright, if I was at 0, now we're back to 1.
That was crisp. Yeah.
I mean, you're low level probably, and it costs money, and you probably don't have a lot of money in Rando either, so... So it's not particularly great. Like, people say Gildas is really OP. It's actually really not. Because the defense values of many enemies, is just really, including bosses, is really high. It's the combination of Gildas and combine or mix, where you're doing combinations that add effective levels to your character, that Gildas suddenly becomes like outrageous. So I'm sure there are situations in which it's nice, but it's not like what I would call a free win. You need money, and you'll still need levels too. For sure, yeah. I guess I just meant like on its own, it's like, eh. But you get something with it, and suddenly it's really good.
So now here's a question. Why do you burn steps in the overworld?
I don't know. Like, burning 2 steps before the dungeon kind of makes sense, but why it needs to happen also before the town, I'm not really sure.
Maybe it's because if you were going to take the 2 steps, you'd get an encounter.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But in that case, why wouldn't you just half step?
My guess would be you would get an encounter after +4 on the town tile. But
I see.
yeah. And the other thing I don't have confirmation on because I never asked is shoot, what was my thought? Oh crap, now I can't remember. Oh yeah. That when you skip an encounter, either by transition or like half step, does it still move you through the encounter list? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you're reaching there. But who knows? All I know is that I'm gonna keep playing my video game. Alright, I hate this dungeon, so yeah.
Why?
It's just really awkward to navigate.
It is. The bridge is very awkward. It just makes it all the more impressive that, you know, that you can keep step through here.
You can totally tell like how cautious I'm being, because there's really just like a lot of slanted paths, even if it doesn't look like that, and a lot of corners to take, and you really just don't want to mess up. So
Yeah, the corners are really the biggest issue. The jags in the sides of the rock faces are really just impossible to tell where you can actually hug up against it and where you.
yeah, exactly. And we're gonna take 2 encounters in here. Zombie dragons, which we're gonna kill via using Phoenix Downs, but our success rate is not guaranteed, although we got first try. We do want the AP and the levels, yes, but most importantly, we're taking the Dragon Fang drops. We're gonna want those a little bit later. So we leave here because I otherwise would have gotten an encounter. So we skip that, and then I'm gonna get a new encounter here at the stairs instead, where we're gonna do the same thing. Yo, double first try. Let's go. Steps, and then yeah, again, just gonna take things really cautiously, and then head on to the Hiryu plant. This is a really simplistic fight. Plant has minions that cause status effects, and that can be annoying, but we have Guild Toss, so the only turns the boss will be taking is reviving its own minions. Nothing will be done offensively against me. That's all there is to it. Just another round of the exact same thing. you go. Fight over. Is this step route from... Oh, hang on a sec. This step route is from memory. Everything is from memory for this run for me, except 3 occasions of inventory management in the early portion of the game, which, like, I just don't understand, like, the logic behind it. Are you serious? Get out of the way, dude! Anyway, not that there isn't logic, I just don't know what it is, so it just seems really random, and thus it's hard for me to commit to memory. That is the only thing I need notes for. All step routing, all menus, all boss strategies, everything I can do from memory. But for whatever reason, dude, those the inventory management in Liquid Flame, in Karnak Escape, and the library, I just cannot remember. I remember certain bits and pieces of it, but like, those are the only 3 times I have to look at notes. And here you have the Moogle and, who is that? Butts? Now Lena fused as one.
Now Lena and the Moogle.
Oh, that's a nice fact. Oh, hey, cutscene's over. This is why you shouldn't look at chat. It can only bring you down.
Okay, that was a little bit longer than the last time. The Moogle was manipulating steps.
It happens more often than I'd like to admit.
I believe that there's a lot of cutscenes in this game.
Mm-hmm. Is this game good? Does it have notable things like suplexing a train? No, it definitely does not. Let me think here. A frog saves the world. I don't know if that counts. Yeah, what's up, new?
You gamer.
Nice frog, dude. Alright, I'm gonna roll off to our good friend Guido, whoever that is. But he's a good friend, or they're a good friend. Of someone.
He's a good guy, that's all you need to know.
There you go.
So why... So you really only switch to Time Mage just to exit there and then switch back to Thief?
Yep.
Nice. So one of the things you have to worry about is getting enough AP for combine, correct?
Yeah, that's what we're working on Butts right now. He's been a chemist for quite a while.
And do you only need one combiner or two?
By the end of the game, you'll have 3, but also in the back end of the game, you get like way the heck more AP per boss. So it's only a slow crawl to combine right now. I'll have a second person with combine by X-Death Castle or mid X-Death Castle, and then I'll have the third one in the Void.
Okay. And combine is only like a what? Chemist level 2 or 3 spell?
I believe it's 2.
Ability?
Yeah, I believe it's 2.
So I imagine it's not that difficult with late game EXP and AP.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, well, Guido's cave didn't work out, so, alright, we'll just go somewhere else.
Just feel compelled to go places.
I'm gonna go straight to this boat instead. Boat in. Nice. What was the time, Sabin? Not that I have a boat in split, so it doesn't matter, but you know. Alright, we're just gonna take a quick naparoo here. And then get your ears ready one more time. You have to face one Gabaldagak. You can never skip the rest, and then fight, because he just stands in your way. You need the AP, though, to be fair. What do you do? Unpause. High potion yourself. See ya, and then you'll toss. So this is some prep work for Atomos. You want one person dead, so see ya. And then you get Gil Toss for Ferris and Combine for Bartz, so we're about to bust those out right now. Now that we have Combine for Bartz, then we're good to go for Butts. And now he's gonna sit at Thief for quite a while. And then we're gonna Death Potion him, so goodbye, and then while he talks, we're gonna manage our inventory again. Okay. This should be Dragon Fang, Turtle Shell should be there, and everything else looks good. Cool. Inventory looks good. See Gilgamesh. So he's definitely susceptible to Doom. In old school routes, you would Dark Shock and then level 5 Doom, but this time you can just Doom him with combining a Phoenix Down and a Dark Matter. You wait just a little bit so that you can do max inventory management. If you wait for your party members' ATBs to fill, then Gilchurn will follow up right away after Gilgamesh dies, instead of having to wait and having less time to do it. As you can see, there's a decent chunk of inventory management that has to happen. And now we're going to hear a little tidbit of my favorite song in the game as we head our way to the barrier tower. And I think this is the point in World 2 now. I mean, there's still cutscenes, of course. The cutscenes will always be there, but this is really the stretch of the game that I enjoy. Like the second half of World 2 and like anything after the Pyramid World 3. I hate the Pyramid, dude.
Me too.
I know
So
my
good.
DQ boys hate the Pyramid also.
Oh yeah. So the barrier tower has
some pretty terrible encounters
Yes.
for this point in the game, which is why you're going to see Vic doing a bunch of step burning. Pretty much every room, I think, right?
Yeah, most rooms and 0 encounters.
And there's like that really annoying like transparency effect with the tower when you're actually outside. You can't like
Yeah.
see where the hell you can actually walk.
Is that my girl, Denise Tiffany Tifa? Or sorry, Denise Jennifer Tifa. I'm sorry. I can't read right now. Someone type that in chat, please. Alright, so far so good. My movement felt really sloppy. Things just felt kind of off. But obviously we still did things.
Yeah, man. 2 hours in, no step route. There's still step route.
Just be glad she has no audio. Tifa is my best friend, okay? Don't even give me that shit. Oh, I'm sorry. See, look how mad you got me that I swore on accident. You don't say those things about me and Tifa. We're best buds. I apologize, though. I should not have said that.
Two and a half hours, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's impressive, man. It's not easy to do what Vic is doing right now. He makes it look really easy, but it's so much to... First of all, it's so much to understand and absorb, and then it's a whole other process to manually learn it and drill it into your brain.
It's fight time. Good RNG or bad RNG? Let's find out.
So this fight, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, if you have all 4 characters alive, he will spam Comet until somebody dies. And then once they're dead, he will start sucking your dead character towards him. And if he's doing that, he's not casting Comet. So you ideally want to have somebody dead at all times, so you just wail on him with kill toss.
Yep. So bad RNG is when he still takes additional turns. Usually his turns are just dragging the dead body, but he can cast slow too. And if he does, then you have to take another turn to use another speed drink, so it just requires another round of action. So it's just slower. The other thing that's happening there, I used both Dragon Fangs. Dragon Fangs plus high potions do Dragon Power, which add 20 effective levels to your character. So I added 40 levels to Ferris so that her Guild Toss would be powerful enough to kill Atmos particularly quickly, along with all the stuff that Countdown said. So nice and easy boss. It's one of like 2 or 3 places, yeah, that my RNG and my PB was not very good. You know, the more I think back on it, you know, my time is good in this game, but like my luck was really good overall, and horrifically bad in like 2 places, and this was one of them. But yes, it's a weird thing. So when I first ran this game, like I said, I only ever learned step route through World 1, and even then, I only really ever cared about keeping it through Karnak Escape, and then I would just go raw on the rest of the run, and that's just what I wanted to do. And that's like, I was like, there's no way I can do step route. And then somewhere down the line, I was like, I want to come back to FF5. I want a better time, and when I do that, like that means I'm gonna need to learn step route. And it's like, I just kind of like told myself like there was no alternative. Like you were gonna learn the step route. And it just, like, honestly, like, wasn't even as bad as I thought it was going to be. It definitely took work, and I definitely have lost a lot of runs, especially, like, when I started running again, but, like, I don't know. It's, like, it hasn't been too bad, and we're right here right now, like, chilling, and at least for now, like, things are going pretty good, so I'm enjoying myself. Alright, what is that? 2 good menus now?
What? No, don't enable Palmer. That's like 9. That I was even paying attention to.
We're gonna hit 420? I don't think so. I don't want to hit any LOD.
Whoa.
Alright, now it's my song. So now we have full control of the submarine, and they sank Guido's cave, and now that we have a submarine, well, okay, then we can just visit Guido's cave now.
Let's go hang out.
And it's another step route heavy dungeon, so that will take my focus. But I will enjoy the music, and I hope you will too.
And so, I don't think I knew this, but another one of those tiles where there are no encounters is the switch for the door.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
That's Guido. That's Guido.
Nice one. This is a heavy encounter dungeon for sure, so it might seem like... I mean, definitely by comparison, we get a lot of encounters in here than many other dungeons, but you can also just get way the heck more without step route. Otherwise, yeah, just really not a whole lot to this dungeon, really, at least in the speedrun. You really just have to get through it. You're not really worried about alternate paths or treasure or anything like that. You just gotta get through. It's just a pretty encounter-heavy dungeon is all there really is to it, but we're here, we got through, and we're ready for our next cutscenes and segment. Here we are. Our dude Guido. Great question, Palmer. I don't know. That happens a lot. Free jail bear. Oh, good question. Even if you're outside of a cell, are you truly free? Got me thinking here, Palmer. Speedrun's canceled. I need to think on this. Just kidding. We're gonna cast exit now. And then we're gonna go this way. And we're looking for 2 coral bushes or whatever, and then 1, and then we're gonna head down. Then we're gonna make a nice U-turn into the middle of nowhere. And hit up the forest of Moor? Mua? I don't even know. Whatever,
It's
dude.
like a chef kiss. It's like moi. Moi.
Alright, got it. It's the only legal way to pronounce it, dude. As a chef's kiss. I like it. Alright. Phoenix down. Nope. Samurai. Okay. So we're gonna take a lot of battles here. As we work through this forest. I'm sure the levels are also a big deal. I think they're gonna both be a big deal as we approach X-Death's castle. But you also we're getting a bunch of XP and AP to make sure we're ready for everybody. Oh no! Well, first error, boys. We're off step route. This is why I'm not supposed to talk during movement sections.
What did you do? All of that looks standard.
Yeah, I was supposed to take 2 steps before I transitioned, so I'm actually only 1 step off. So this might be salvageable.
That's still an impressive amount of game
Yeah,
to make.
I'm not happy about that. That really didn't need to happen. It's just because, like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's just because, like, this is why I was like in the beginning, like, hey, I shouldn't talk during these movement things, and then I would talk during the movement things, and then that happened, you know. But oh well. I mean, yeah, it's not the biggest deal ever.
Where would you get an extra encounter? Or do you know yet?
I'm not sure. I have to see how these next couple encounters play out.
So, like, if you make it to the world map before getting your extra encounter, does that mean you can half-step your way out of...
Yeah, that's the plan. It's gonna be a little bit of improv, maybe. I have to see, because you're supposed to get 2 more encounters before the boss anyway, so I really just need to see where those steps are and just think about what I can do, if anything. And so we'll see. It might be salvageable, it might not be. I really don't know. I'm guessing not, but we'll see.
You can take the 2 steps before the Aegis Shield, right? For an
Okay,
extra.
so... We're still one step back. So what does this mean? Let me see where I get this next one. Unfortunately, I'm a lot less familiar with where this encounter step is. I can look. My notes are up. I haven't scrolled them in like an hour, but I can look. Where am I right now? So I'm gonna go a little bit slow here just to see if I can figure this out right now. I am right here. I should get it here. Okay. So what we're gonna do is take 4 here instead. And then we're gonna see what happens.
All right.
So by taking 4 here, now I should be ahead 1 step. So now I want to take 1 extra step. And I can do that on the world map by taking 1 extra step and then half-stepping myself back.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. Please no more on Ferris. Okay, no troll there. This is the absolute place I got destroyed RNG wise in my PB. The Moogle didn't move out of the way. That's actually one of the fastest times I've seen a Moogle move, and then I also got trolled by the boss. This is another RNG point as well. So you're supposed to enter a cutscene battle of sorts with Gloof one-on-one versus X-Death, and even though you can get reduced to 0 HP, Gloof doesn't die, and you have to just whittle down X-Death's HP, which, like, if you're playing casually, you're probably strong enough to do that and not have it take forever, but I'm not. So, but Gloof has had the bone mail for quite a while, and it gives you high defense, but it also makes heal stuff hurt you and revive stuff kill you. Since he has that on, they were prepared for you to lose 0 HP and have that programmed for you to have the battle continue. But I guess what they weren't prepared for was for you to just, like, if you took an effect that just auto-killed you, that still seems to work. So we're going to get through this battle as fast as possible by having Gloof Phoenix down himself and end the battle. But Phoenix Down's, when you're using it offensively in that sense, it also is offensive. Like, there's a chance that, like, you essentially, like, miss. So you can also fail the Phoenix Down, and it can take any amount of tries for that to happen. It could happen first try, and a lot of my runs lately have been like 4th, 5th, 6th try, so we'll see what happens.
Oh boy.
If you have Exploder, that makes sense. Unfortunately, we don't have that, but yeah. Alright, so you will eat 1 turn at least from X-Tac. Bolt 3, I think, is the slowest. Nice. Or, sorry, the fastest, excuse me. Yo! First try. Got him. And now it's cutscene time. And this is one of the bigger breaks, remaining breaks, so I'm going to be right back. Alright, see ya, Gloof. Good riddance. I had countdown muted for that on accident. I said, see ya, Gloof. Good riddance. Get wrecked.
Well, you got owned, for sure.
And then here you just wait out. It's a time.
Do you know what the normal mechanics of that fight are? In like a vanilla setting where you're not killing yourself with bone meal?
Yeah, you just have to deplete his HP. And you can never die, so it just takes X amount of time for you to do that. I forget how much HP he has.
I see, because I remember it taking a very long time for me.
Yeah.
But then I've always done the bone nail thing, so...
Right, because in vanilla you're always going to pick it up and whatnot, so you may as well just throw it on before the crystal boss.
Right.
Chaz wouldn't have died. He wouldn't have died there because he'd already be dead. Where's Bowie? He'd be stirring up all the pro Chazers right now.
What pro Chazers?
Oh, they exist. I didn't know they existed until Bowie, but they exist.
Is Bowie just one of those lucky guys?
Yeah, I guess so. Alright, we will soon see if my shenanigans work or not. God, I hope they do, dude. Be sick. But it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work. Okay, land, walk, walk, extra step, half step, walk, 1, 2, 3, half step. Let's save it too. Well, so far so good. Chaz hard carries the run. Yes. They were, so if you take a step and you can basically hit a direction, buffer the menu so that you menu essentially just as you're landing the next step. It doesn't register that step. So it can both affect just steps, but you can also do it on a step you know you would have gotten an encounter on and also not get that encounter. So it's a dual use. Typically you're only ever using it to just skip the encounter, I think. but in that scenario, I needed to use it to get myself to a correct, well, to what I think and hope, more hope that is the correct step number. No, because there's nothing, you can't do it in dungeons. You can only do that in the overworld. So you will get encounters in dungeons somewhere down the line. Plus you need stuff too, yeah. So you, even if you could, you wouldn't. Oh my god, did this work, dude? It frickin' worked, dude! We're back!
Nice.
We are back on step route, dude. I cannot.
It never happened.
I can't believe it.
It never happened.
I was so sad too, dude. Alright, here we're catching magic dragons. We'll use them later. We're also going to finish out the battle as well for AP purposes. This is where Ferris will get combined as well.
Nice.
Oh man, alright. I really need to focus. That's unfortunate. Come on. Come on, really? I mean, I'm not in any danger, it's just taking forever, clearly. This has actually never happened before. Oh my god, dude. Please. Thank you. Let me tell you a little story about how I messed up step route and then fixed it, and now we're still on step route. Oh my god. You know what? I'm down for that atrocious steel luck, dude, because we are still on step route. And that's freaking awesome. All right. That's fine. And that'll do it. Boom! World 2 down. So this is a strategy you're gonna see a lot now. Either use a speed drink or otherwise have haste. Dragon power someone a lot, at least 3 times, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. Actually, I think one time 5, and then have them guild toss someone to death. And you kill him so fast that his, like, dangerous moves in his different phases just don't come up. So you just nail him. 2 worlds down, 1 to go. I'm still in disbelief the step route mistake could get worked out. That's awesome. I'm, like, as happy as I was sad. Alright, so much like World 2, World 3 starts off pretty slow, and then once World 3 gets going, it just doesn't stop. So World 3 actually has my favorite segment of the game, which is the Void, but it definitely takes some doing to get there. You have to go through a bunch of cutscenes starting now, and then you have to go through the pyramid, which I am not a fan of, but what are you gonna do? Not an infinite money toss. We did dupe ethers in the pyramid. God dang it. In the library and sold 255 of them for like 200k or something like that. But we've been picking up guild chests all throughout the run. And when we have to buy 3 pairs of running shoes later, we will be selling other stuff as well. Including these duped Dragon Fangs, we'll be selling a good chunk of those. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. The step route. Exactly. I only do what the notes say. The notes don't say run out of money. I like that both Final Fantasy runs. I mean, maybe there are more than two, but I'm thinking of this one and 6 both had internet drops. That makes me laugh. So technically steps do count right now, and the game's keeping track of them, but you can't actually get into any encounters, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter. I mean, take that back, but like, casually you could just walk around and it wouldn't do anything. And now, for the first time since like minute 15 or something. No, minute 15, not even close. I don't know. Somewhere within the first 10 minutes. We last saw Boko. Boko's back. Settled down. Wife. Children soon. But going on one last hurrah. Boko steps, however, do not count right now. Which is weird because they do count in World 1 in the beginning of the game. You, again, won't get into any encounters, but game's still keeping track of your steps. But for whatever reason, right now it doesn't. Ah, that's weird. Game's weird, man. Wouldn't that be like a veggie burger? Alright, now it's time for the dreaded antlion. Look at those pincers, dude. They're like a mile apart. That's some real damage. Dragon power. Gill toss. Looking familiar? You would Sonic Wave me, wouldn't you? See ya. Now we get toyed with a little bit. So like I said, just more slow stuff, dude. Cutscenes. Cutscenes. Kill a boss real quick. Cutscenes. But it'll pick up. Business will pick up. I promise you. So here's the foreshadowings coming up real soon. I don't know, I'm very much not a vegetarian. I've never tried any of those. I can't imagine baka burgers or boka burgers or whatever being any good though. Like, I feel like it has to be awful. But I feel like you can make some good stuff if you cared. But yeah, Kara has a splinter. I'm sure that won't come up again. Okay, so in a weird step thing, you get off, and then you enter. Because you can just straight enter on the Chocobo. But... Oh yeah, more cutscenes. Let's go. Yeah, I hear that. It's kind of interesting that you would almost, like, never want a substitute, right? Like, if you're gonna go vegetarian, like, then do that. But I don't know. Like I said, I shouldn't talk. I can't relate to it at all, so. People like their subs. Oh, I heard about the Impossible Whopper. Yeah, shoot. That's right. I heard it's just, like, good. Like, for anybody. Like, not necessarily health-wise, but... You know what I mean? Like, it's just good. I heard that. Someone told me that. Yeah, I can imagine. A fair question, but I am a self-admitted, like, fast food, like, fanatic. Like, I definitely don't eat it a lot. Well, I think by normal people's standard, I still eat it a lot, but I used to eat it, like, all the time, and so I like that stuff. So it stands to reason I might enjoy that Impossible Whopper.
I have returned.
Hello. Welcome back.
Phone call.
No worries. Not a lot going on in World 3 right now, so... In fact, still more cutscenes.
Been watching and listening, actually. I did the most degenerate thing possible and did the entire phone call while I still had my cans on over the phone.
I have fast food like once a week. And I know that's still a lot. But, like, it used to be, like, a lot. So, one step at a time.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at in my life, too. If that.
It's going alright, Miria. Run's going as well as I could hope for, so we're chill.
No. He got off step route. And then he got back on step route. Don't be so humble. I'm sick.
Yeah, I definitely do take out a lot also of varying quality. It's not always like fast-ish quality, but sometimes it is. It's like all the best stuff is so bad for you, dude, and then getting good stuff takes like a lot of money and work. Well, maybe not money, but it takes work. That's not an excuse, but does... Oh my god, that was like the worst menu of all time. Probably because I was trying to talk during it. Have I not learned my lesson yet? Oh, I love pizza rolls, dude, and have my whole life. That's top tier food right there. I've actually had to stop buying it because I would just eat it all the time. Alright. Actual worst dungeon incoming.
It's pretty bad. So these guys you have to kill at the same time, or one of them regenerates with full HP. So Kill Toss is your friend here since it hits both equally.
Heck yeah.
And it's pretty free.
Dang.
So
Yeah, it's really common for you to hit at least one aspis, so it is what it is. Still managed to dodge the second one. That's nice. And then we're gonna sit here and wait for these. Oh god, I messed up. Why do I do this to myself, dude? Oh my god. Uh-oh. This is bad. This is really bad. This is really bad. Oh no. Oh no, dude! What did I do? Okay, let's do this. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is, now that we're completely off step route for real now, we don't have anything equipped right now, right? Okay, that's fine. Let's put escape on for now, just in case. Pyramid Man! It's always the pyramid. Now, I don't care at all about losing step route in World 3. Like, yes, it would have been nice, but you really just don't need it in World 3 at all. It'll save you time, obviously, but you don't, like, need it at all. Okay. Now I'll try for not Machine Head skip. I've made that mistake before. Oh my god. What is happening? Okay, we have to do it. It's one of those pyramids, dude. It's one of those pyramids. Do that. And then that.
this is a series of unfortunate events.
It really is.
So if you had run off before the spikes came up, could you have saved those 4 steps somewhere?
No. Once I hit the spikes early, it was over. Okay, the next move will be to, let's do this. Okay, let's bring you back. Heal you, and continue. What is it about the pyramid, dude? I like always blow up here. It's all good. Not a problem. I'm over it. Okay. May as well save it now. Oops. you can see when you take your movement real casual, at least when I do. It's like, oh, you can just misstep everywhere, which is why I tend to be a lot more cautious about it. So what happened was, this has happened one time before. You're supposed to stop at the spikes and wait for them to pop up, and then walk over them. You want the poison again to get yourself back in critical HP for that mummy battle. And I had done it one time before where I just walked onto the holes thinking like, that's the right move, like that's what you're supposed to do. And it happened again. So we're off now. But to be fair, like, if there's ever a place you're gonna get off step route, World 3 is the place, because it's literally just about minimizing encounters. All the way up through Exodus Castle, like, you're also looking for very specific encounters. So, not that you can't find them without step route, obviously it's just gonna take you some time. So it's definitely really good to keep it, or essentially keep it through there. World 3, it's not really an issue. It'll take me a little bit longer to get through, but we got it. I think so. World 3 is a very open place, especially once you beat the pyramid. A lot of different things you can do, but probably goes without saying we're going to forego all of that since this is a quote-unquote speedrun. Oops. Okay, so we will exit out. Jump back into Mediator. Let me just double check this ability since I don't really care about going fast anymore. Alright, so now we're gonna hit this cutscene and fight Mary Jean. So Mary Jean's gimmick is that she has a certain elemental weakness. You hit her with that elemental weakness, or maybe it's a certain amount of damage, I'm honestly not sure, because I haven't done this the real way in a long time. But either way, she starts off as being weak to fire first. And so we're going to make use of that. And even though we're going to be hitting her with fire, we'll finish our turns before she gets the turn to change her elemental weakness, so it's not a big deal at all. She has 20,000 hit points-ish, and both magic dragons, when I release them, are going to do 9999, so that puts me just under 20k. And so actually we have black magic on Ferris to just cast Fire 1, and it's going to do like 150 damage or something like that. But, you know, you only need to do like a handful of damage extra to make this happen. So, it works out nicely. Yeah, FF6 blue magic was not great. What is lore? Mary Jean might not even take a turn. If she does, she'll physical, and Kara will cover. Yeah, so, and she has enough armor for it to not be a big deal. So that's it. That's the boss fight. That's all she's going to be able to do. And that's the fight. Hey, we talked about how Lena and Ferris are sisters and Gloof is a king. There was a little bit of lore, dude. Don't even give me that. Come on. Come on. So now I'm just kind of hitting the menu at not quite random intervals, hoping that it resets back the threat meter and pushes back encounters so I don't get any. But it's not quite as simple as all that, but it worked out, because why not?
Don't sell the core now, dude.
No one plays 11. My boy Chelmy plays 11. Still.
He sure does.
Literally dozens. I mean, yeah, dude. That's true. I've seen it. I've seen it. I played 11 for like a week. And then I was gonna join some friends in like a raiding guild, and they were like, "We need a white mage." And I was like, "Okay." And then I leveled as white mage, and then I accomplished nothing because I was leveling as white mage, and then I quit.
The game still has 36,000 players.
36,000.
36,000 players. Impressive. That's a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, for sure. It's okay, Palmer. I had a lot of hours on Star Wars Galaxies and City of Heroes, and of course, World of Warcraft.
The world.
And I don't have a girlfriend to show for quitting those, so I think you made it out okay. Not that I need one, but, you know, whatever. EverQuest probably still has players, yeah.
My Steam account is embarrassing.
I can only imagine. We can just cry alone together. Yes. Sounds good.
They shouldn't track the hours played, man. That's just fucking. That's just rude.
Yeah, I hear you. Alright, let's see how this money situation turns out. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time in the shop. Okay, so first thing you want to do is sell those. Next thing you want to do is let's do that for now. Okay, so that's probably enough money. Do you need kunai like at all? I doubt it. Alright, that's enough money for sure. I'm pretty sure I still have like more than enough dragon fangs, but I'm just being extra cautious about it.
How many do you think you need total?
I don't remember. It's not something I've ever really had to care about, so...
61 is a lot.
I'm like 85% sure it's like totally fine.
85, okay. I'll take those odds.
this place will go a little bit slower than it should, but otherwise we're gonna, because there will be extra encounters, but otherwise we are gonna cruise. Normally you get 2 encounters in this screen, so we'll see how we do.
High Spirits is on your side, dude.
He always is. I assume we'll get 3. Yep. It's kind of funny, because like, I've definitely done multiple runs without Step Route in World 3, specifically the Void. And it's funny, because if you get lucky enough with how the encounters are spaced, I actually have segments that go faster than when you Step Route, because you're, you know, not taking the time to take the extra steps. And you do take a lot of extra steps in the entirety of this place. I would not call it right now one of those times, but it is kind of funny that sometimes it works out to your advantage in certain parts, and then in other parts you definitely get like way more encounters. So like obviously overall Step Route's better, but that doesn't mean you have to get like too dragged down on a specific number of encounters. Like you can definitely get through pretty fast. It's just obviously it can't be fast in every single segment, or faster in every single segment. You just don't have that consistency. Normally in here you have 2 encounters, and I would probably guess we're probably going to have like 4.
At this point, it's just encounter. It's just run away.
Yeah, it's just time lost for the transitions of battles. Like, there's nothing like I need. Like, you wouldn't be fighting anything or looking for drops or catches or any of that kind of stuff.
Right. So this is like the least consequential area.
Exactly.
You made it through the gauntlet.
Right. Which is really why ultimately I don't mind that I lost Step Route again.
But for real this time.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also means you don't have to skip or blow a ridiculous amount of steps in the void, or do you?
No, because I don't. Yeah, there's no blowing steps now because I have no idea where I'm at.
Right. So it's just a waste at that point. You're just like,
yeah, you're just dancing around like an idiot at that point. So we're going to use a maiden kiss and antidote here to float Lena. You need it for a catastrophe. You may as well just do it now instead of going into the menu. And currently Ferris is a freelancer, which lets her hold 2 abilities right now. So one is escape and one is combine. So no need to like have to jump in the menu and make someone a thief again or something like that either. The other nice thing about being off Step Route is now you can afford to like take a safety save like right here, right next to Omega.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Otherwise you would absolutely blow by save points unless you already had to walk through them. So you might enjoy this fight. We're gonna make use of Kara's cover ability quite nicely here, because a panda can be pretty mean. So Dragon Power, and this time we're going to Revivify Turtle Shell, the boss. It's almost Kara's turn. Oh, she's dead.
Oh no.
Alright. Let's pick her up. Oh, she's dead again. Gotta go fast. Dragon Power gives that character 20 effective levels. So I just gave Lena 60 levels so that her Gil Toss would actually deal damage. So in this screen, it's a very long screen, and you would... Step Route pays off huge here, because you would normally only get 2, and I could very easily get like 6 or something like that.
Oh, goodness.
And that's like
That's too many.
2 very quick ones right there.
Thankfully, though, you have the escape command
Yeah.
to rely on.
Exactly. So again,
So is there something about the escape command where that person will always get the first turn?
no, not at all. So I just have it designated that, or like the route designates like the fastest person. You're gonna make the person with escape the fastest person.
Okay, so yeah, you just gear up Varys.
Yeah. So
That's
she's already
freelancer.
really fast. Plus she's hasted. Plus freelancers
Gotcha.
are decently or better fast. So it's like you got everything in there. And she's also the only one with equipment. She's got speed boosting equipment as well. So, do I need to do anything? No, I don't think so.
How many did you get? I wasn't paying attention. 6?
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention either. Pretty close. I think at least 5. So Catastrophe's defense is actually really, really high, so we don't even bother spending a Gil Toss. But also, a fully powered Lena with 80 extra levels can 2-shot Catastrophe. Right? So Catastrophe's whole stick is he'll Earthshaker, probably, but if you have someone floating, then he'll Gravity them first and then Earthshaker probably after. So you start the battle with Lena floated. I did that in the Caliphus 3 boss, so that he uses his turn to ground her, and then since you're hasted, you're gonna get 2 turns before he gets 1 anyway, or before he gets his second turn rather. So it's not a danger.
So if someone's floating, so he will always use
Yeah,
gravity minus 99 or whatever that
gravity
was.
100 or something. Yeah, whatever it is. That's it. You can just abuse his AI like that. So even in the old route, where that fight took way more turns, you just recasted float anytime you needed to. I don't have float, but you used float back in the day.
Okay.
Gil
Base on the front of the
Toss.
castle, by the way.
What?
There's a base in the front of the castle made by the 2 windows above
Oh.
the door.
I think, yeah, that's right.
And if you went in and out,
Are there bears in this jail? I don't think so.
jail there.
It's a great name.
It really is.
Alright, so we will get froggied. And Halicarnasso's defense is not ridiculous, but their HP pool is pretty high, so you do spend the time powering up 2 people. That way you can make sure you get the kill before they get another turn. So, there you go. Our first good menu. Exactly, dude. Okay, so we'll have to do some extra stuff because now I can actually get encounters. So we'll actually put escape on right now, just in case. Normally you would not get any encounters in between Twintania and Halicarnasso, but I might now, so... Farm an encounter there. Why not? Go back. Put hide on. Why do you do this? That was weird. Now I'm like all confused and stuff, dude. What is happening? Alright. Are you good with Cure? Alright, everything's fine. Everything's fine, dude. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is GTFO. See ya. See ya, froggies or toadies.
Well, and then they're gonna... That means they're dead.
Yeah.
What's that?
Phoenix.
Wait out 4 attacks total. High potion yourself, because we do need a tank and wind slash coming up. Defend twice and watch ATB. Watch for the pause in ATB. Right there. To know that he switched forms. Phoenix down, Dark Matter, dead. And now we're going to roll with a solo party for now. There's really no need to revive anybody yet. I never knew until this route that the high doubles as run. And so when like everybody else is dead, I did not know that. So I do not need to go back into the menu and put escape on or anything like that. Not that it would be a big deal, but I can just continue.
That's pretty neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, why did the notes not say to put escape on? Like, I was like adjusting the notes myself, and I did have to make some adjustments, but like I did that one, and then I think it was Nikki told me like I think high just makes you run, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. This has been an insanely good void, though. This portion, as far as encounters, I've gotten what, like 3 only. You normally get 3 in step route. I'm matching that right now. So that's the 4th.
That's pretty good.
That's the 4th. And you don't do a lot of extra steps in here, to be fair, but this is really fast. So that's nice. That's what I mean. Like sometimes it just works out. When you're on step route, it works out every time. But
Right. That's...
yeah. But you can start to see why after my blow up in the pyramid, it's like, yeah, I don't care. So it would be a different story, like trying to like grind encounters out in X Death's Castle, like waiting for my blue dragon fight or something like that. But this is totally cool. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna rate this speedrun after it's done, and I hope we all agree with my review. But in the meantime, we have our last set of cutscenes here.
How long is it? 7 minutes.
I don't know, 3 minutes or something like that. Right, so Xdeath's a tree now.
Yeah.
Master of the Void.
What is it about the void that just turns you into a tree with a face on it?
I don't know.
Goofy things.
How bad does this section have to get? What's my time right now? Like really high 340s?
345, 346.
346?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. It'd have to be really, really, really bad. I'd have to redo this section like 10 times or something. I don't even know.
When's the last time you saved?
Before a panda.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, not terrible, but still a couple of bosses.
Yeah. I mean, it would probably be less than 10 times, but I'd have to redo that portion of the void at least a few times. Alright, so we're gonna... You probably know, if you know anything about this game, Neo X Death is actually like a really hard boss. And we're gonna cheese our way through by not fighting Neo X Death at all.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So like much like Archeo Avis, it's kind of scripted. Like boss dies, trigger over to next phase of boss. But instead, we're gonna eventually berserk the boss, and then which will kind of override all of his scripts. And then when he dies, he dies.
he doesn't turn into Neo X Step because just can only attack and do nothing else.
I know.
It is really a shame, yeah, we don't get to hear the song or like.
Yeah, it's a really good song for sure, and it's like a really cool boss.
Right, it's a neat fight. It's intense for sure.
Yeah, we have more than enough Dragon Fangs. We still have 8 left, and I don't need any more. So I did not have to trip at all. Good to know. Alright, get ready on time. So this should be the last skill toss, so get ready. Time.
Nice run.
Oh man. Nice run.
348.
348, sub 350.
That's great.
Honestly, that run, I think, went the way it really ought to have. Like, we did pretty well. There was spots of really good and really bad luck. We performed well. We messed up the step route, got back on the step route, and we're all like, yeah! And then I got off step route again, too. And it's like, it's not a me run if I don't blow up somewhere, right? And like, and we finished the run in like a timely manner, so like that's cool. Like this was a totally fine run in my opinion.
This run had peaks and valleys, my friend.
Definitely had peaks and valleys.
It was an emotional roller coaster.
And my internet died.
Oh yeah, for sure. I forgot about that.
And apparently we played ads during it, so it's like this run is everything that are my runs, dude.
It was enjoyable, thanks to you and to everybody that made this possible for having me on.
Thank you very much for joining me. It would have been pretty tough to like take care of everything on my own, so I appreciate it because I know you're up late. So feel free to go to bed now. I will be here until the credits are over because we're very early. So yeah, you don't have to stick around at all. No, it's no worries.
Okay. Well, it was fun. I wish everybody a good night.
See you later, dude.
Nice run.
Like, I think it's very clear. I really wanted to just show up to a marathon and just nail a step route. And so obviously there's going to be a little disappointment, but this run is also like, it epitomizes every live run I ever have, dude, of just like madness, just decent speed running and pure madness. I really can't be mad. I really can't complain, dude. And so, because I'm like 20 minutes above my estimate, I assume we're gonna sit and chill for a while. Does anyone know offhand how fast Dragon's Run was 2 years ago? I could probably just look it up myself. I should probably not be lazy. Yes, go to Games Done Quick's channel. That's where that's gonna be. Good job, me. Questing for Glory 1. Where are you at? Where's that? 2017? Where are you at? There you are. Did he not play in this one? Anyway, I'm getting those messages, so thanks everybody for joining, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the latest rendition of Final Fantasy V. It was every bit of an emotional roller coaster, as my runs always are. Thank you for sharing it with me. Please enjoy the rest of Questing for Glory. This is my main project right now, so if I ever stream, then this is what you'll see. Have a great night, y'all. Enjoy the rest.